Let us pray. Almighty God, the creator and ruler of heaven and earth, we beseech thee to inspire and guide all our actions so that we may always walk in the path of justice, love, and charity to one another. Help us with thy grace to do only those things that promote the unity, peace, happiness, and prosperity of Nigeria in general and Lagos State in particular. Amen. Good afternoon, distinguished colleagues. You are all welcome back from the disturbed break. I'm sure it will be made up. And Happy New Year. I'm sure this is the first sitting after we have had meetings. Mr. Clark, the direction of your humidifier, what do you call it? Yeah, I think you should replace them. They are all going towards the same direction. Nothing is coming towards the, or maybe where the way you place them. Maybe some should be placed maybe side by side along the walkway. Let us go through the votes and proceedings of Tuesday, 29 December 2020. Let us go through page 274. Honorable
Thank you,
Tijani.
Right Honorable Speaker. I found my name under absent and I was part of the sitting.
Okay, Mr. Clark, please take notes. Page 275, 276, 277, 278 279 280 281 282 283. I have examined the votes and proceedings of Tuesday, 29 December 2020, and I provide here granted. Any message from the governor?
Right Honorable Speaker, sir. Distinguished honorable members, there is no message from the governor, sir.
Any other announcements?
Right Honorable Speaker, sir. There is no announcement.
Petitions?
None, sir.
Matter of urgent public importance? None. Personal explanation, Honorable Shokunle.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker, fellow colleagues. Currently, Mr. Speaker, Lagos State is recording increasing number of COVID-19 patients, and people still don't believe this virus exists. Our visit to the center revealed to the committee the aggressive nature of the virus, of this second wave virus. Some months back, the center recorded few number of patients and very little on oxygen. But as I speak to you today, Mr. Speaker, 80% of those in isolation centers, they are all on oxygen. Based on this, the state had gone to increase the oxygen generation by producing oxygen generator plants to complement the one we are buying in the state, because presently, as I speak to you today, we are consuming about 170 cylinders every day, and the one we built would give us about 60 cylinders each day. It is quite understandable that the state economy cannot withstand total lockdown, but at the same time, public enlightenment, sensitization, regular broadcasting on how patients are faring at the center, if seen, will be believing, to enable people to see and believe that the virus truly exists. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, it will not be out of place to ban any social gathering. Now, 1, aggressive enforcement of the use of face mask. 3, reduction of passengers number in public vehicle. 4, regular disinfection of commercial vehicle. 5, schools that cannot comply with COVID safety measure tips should continue their academic session online. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Olo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just want to buttress what Honorable Shokule just revealed now. Mr. Speaker, it is getting to a level that I'm worried because our people's non-adherence to COVID-19 protocols. I think it will not be out of place if we sanction non-compliance. And there's a need to arrest people that fail to comply with the COVID protocol, especially wearing of nose mask. And in addition to what he said, I think it is important as well to stop all social engagement where people mingle together in the name of parties. I think what we have at hand is pandemic, and there's a need for us to take it so seriously. So, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Chokula has said the obvious, and there's a need for us, apart from information dissemination, there's a need for what I call penalty for non-compliance. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, the Chairman House Committee on that. I was a bit disturbed when I had conversation with him during weekends. Actually, I asked him to visit the center, isolation center, because a former member has been admitted for almost a few days ago. So I asked him to step in to see how it could be of help. But the news that came from his PC was something worrisome and disturbing. And the need for us to be conscious of this dreadful, for me it has become a dreadful pandemic now. But, from where the chairman stopped, is of a great concern if we have wherewithal to embark on a second lockdown. That is the question. Stopping people, closing off this, closing off that, it also has adverse effects. It has effects, so we need to balance. We need to look at it. Fine, life is very precious to us, but I think what we should embark upon now is the awareness being canvassed by the chairman. We need to sensitize our people. We need to inform them. We need to encourage them to abide with the COVID-19 protocol. I think that is the line we should choose now. So, going back to what we did last time, we are still struggling to get out of it, the economic implication of it. So, I don't know. You see, even at the center, they've been cautious to call for total lockdown again. So, we have to do something, but let us call on them to continue with the awareness campaign on this matter so that we can reduce. I mean, if our people are well informed, we continue to caution them. The social gathering where they've given conditions, the number of people that can gather in a place and the size of the hall determines the number of the people. So we should keep to that. I think we should keep to that so that we will not rock the economic boat again. Huh? So that is my own view, and that is my take. So you may make that as a motion, Honorable Shokunle, to direct to the governor to call on the commissioner on information and strategy to continue with the awareness.
That we should call on the governor, Mr. Babajide Olúṣọlá Sanwo-Olu, to call on the Commissioner for Information and Strategy to embark on aggressive campaign, to embark on public enlightenment, sensitization, and regular broadcasting on how patients are faring at the center for people to see that truly the virus exists. I so move, Mr. Speaker. I shouldn't stop there.
No, not the people that are affected. We are talking about consciousness, raising consciousness of our people to abide by the COVID-19 protocols. So awareness and campaign.
Mr. Speaker, please, can I chip in something?
Yeah.
I don't think it won't be out of place if we include enforcement, usage of face mask.
Yeah.
By the time we put enforcement, if we do public enlightenment, campaign, this and that, if there's no enforcement, I think our people will still not abide by it.
Go ahead.
We should call on the governor, Mr. Babajide Olúṣọlá Sanwo-Olu, to call on the Commissioner for Information to embark on public enlightenment and sensitization let me take it again. Say it loud. To embark on public enlightenment and sensitization. Also, aggressive enforcement of the use of face masks. I so move. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I rise to second the motion as moved.
All in favor, say aye. Those against, no. The ayes have it. Mr. Clerk, kindly direct the resolve to Mr. Governor for implementation. Reports. Business of the day, Honorable Agnubiade.
Right Honorable Speaker, on behalf of other 7 members of the Adult Committee on Land Grabbers Activities in the state, I hereby lay the report in respect of the public hearing held on Tuesday, 1st December 2020 to deliberate on the issue of land grabbers activities in the state. I so lay.
Honorable Makinde.
The Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I stand before you today to lay a report of the Committee of Special Duty and Intergovernmental Relations on Swimming Pool Regulation 2021. I so lay.
Honorable Raouf.
Good afternoon, Right Honorable Speaker, and the distinguished members of Lagos State House of Assembly. I'm here this afternoon to lay a report of the Committee on Procurement on Lagos State Public Procurement Agency Amendment Bill 2020. Solely.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the business of the day will require your indulgence and that of my colleagues to ask for reordering of the order paper due to some logistic reasons. Item B1 of the order paper and item D will have to be stepped down till another day. And item B2 will become B1, while item E on the other paper will become item D. With your kind permission, Mr. Speaker, I so move.
B1.
B1 and D are taken out. So B2 will now become B1, while item E will become item D on the other paper for today. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Philip.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the motion as moved.
All in favor, say aye. Those against, nay. The ayes have it.
Again, Mr. Speaker, the report, one of the reports to be taken today for presentation is the report in respect of swimming pool regulation 2020. Mr. Speaker, the regulation was committed to the committee in the last session, and it could not be presented before the end of the 8th Assembly, so that we can have the legislative capacity to take this in this session without starting de novo. I wish to rely on Order 95, which confers right on the House to continue business of last Assembly in the current Assembly. On that ground, Mr. Speaker, I wish to move that on the strength of Order 95, the report in respect of swimming pool regulations be taken in this session. I so move.
Honorable Akison.
Right, Honorable Speaker, Honorable colleague, I rise to second the motion as moved.
All in favor, say ayes. Those against, nay. The ayes have it.
Mr. Speaker, to be able to take the report listed on the other paper for presentation today, I move that the House reverts to committee of the whole, dissolve to committee of the whole. I so move.
Honorable Akande.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the motion as moved.
All in favor, say ayes. Those against, nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Makinde.
Good afternoon, the Right Honorable Speaker and my colleagues. The report to be presented this afternoon is a report on Committee of Special Duty, Intergovernmental Relations on Lagos State Safety Commission Swimming Pool Regulation 2021. Preamble, number 1. The House at the plenary session committed the regulation to ad hoc committee on special duty and intergovernmental relations for further scrutiny. In line with Order 73 of the Business Rules and Standing Order of the House, the ad hoc committee organized a stakeholder meeting at the Chamber Conference Room to seek input, presentation, and a memoranda from concerned stakeholders and interested members of the public in order to enrich the proposed regulations. 2. Opening remark. It is worthy to note that this regulation has been in the House for a long time. This report has passed through previous chairmen of this committee. In fact, this is an inherited report, which I strongly feel should pass for the House approval, considering its importance. With the indulgence of the Right Honorable Speaker, I want to skip the keynote and move to the observations. The general, 4 observations. The general opinion of the committee after the stakeholder meetings was that the regulations were in order and will serve negotiations better with some amendments. Observations drawn by the committee are as follows. 1. In the enacting formula in line 2 and 3, delete Adebumi Dominga and replace with Engineer Bangboche Martins. 2. Old Regulation 12 be inserted now as Regulation 1. 3. Roman figure 1. Old Regulation 1 with the side note, General Application, now Regulation 2. Roman figure 2, line 1, delete rules and replace with regulations. And Roman figure 3, still in new Regulation 2, line 3, inside the word including private swimming pools after the fee. 4. create a new regulation 3 out of the old regulation 1 sub 2 with the side note protective guidelines. 5. In old regulation 1 sub 4, now regulation 3 sub 4, delete the words, then the pool shall be equipped with ladders or steps used to enter or exit the water after the word steps in line 3. 6. Roman figure 1. In old regulation 2 sub 1, now regulation 5 sub 1, redraft to read, every public swimming pool facility operators must have a visible and well-displayed safety policy statement within the pool premises. Roman figure 2. In old regulation 2 sub 2, now regulation 5 sub 2, delete the word subsection in line 1 and replace with the word sub-regulation. Roman figure 3. Still in the old regulation 2 sub 2, now regulation 5 sub 2, paragraph D, insert the word polluting before the word contaminating. 4. Roman figure 4. Still on the new regulation 5 sub 2, insert new paragraph F to J. F. Swimming without a lifeguard on duty. G. Learner without supervision or lone swimmer. H. Swimming with open wound. I. Fighting/violence in the pool area. And J. Possession and handling of dangerous weapons in the pool area. Roman figure 5. In old regulation 2 sub 3, now new regulation 5 sub 3, insert new paragraph E to F to read as follows. E. Young children should be supervised when using the swimming pool. And F. Keep particles, objects, structures clear of the pool fence at all times. 7. Create a new regulation 4 with side note. Posting of swimming pool rules to read as follows. 4. Sub 1. 1. Every public swimming pool must have rules and regulations relating to swimming in the pool and activities in and around the pool area in accordance with the provisions of this regulation. 2. Every public swimming pool facility operators shall post a sign stating the rules and regulations of the pool in conspicuous position within the pool enclosure. 8. Create a new regulation 6 out of the old regulation 1 sub 8 and 1 sub 9 with side note. Training operator as supervisor to read as follows. 6. Sub 1. Every facility shall be under the supervision of the trained and competent operator. 2. Such operator referred to in sub-regulation 1 of this regulation shall be familiar with the equipment of the pool and texts necessary for the operation of the pool. B. Responsible for all sanitary measures prescribed in this regulation. And C. Competent in administering first aid and cardiopulmonary resuscitation. 9. Roman figure I. In old regulation 3 sub 4, now regulation 7 sub 4, with side note, cleanliness of swimming pool. In line 1, insert the word all before public. Roman figure 2, still in line 1 of new regulation 7 sub 4, delete D before the word was. 10. Roman figure 1, in old regulation 4, now regulation 8, amend the side note to read permit for swimming pool, hot tube, etc. Roman figure 2, in old regulation 4 sub 1, now new regulation 8, sub 1, in line 5, delete words in the Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development after authority and replace with who shall issue a certificate of approval. Roman figure 3, insert a new regulation 8 sub 4 to read as follows. The approving authority shall approve the permit when satisfied that the applicant has met all the requirements and conditions in line with the existing laws and regulations. And 5, and 4, delete old regulation 4 sub 5 and create a new regulation 8 sub 5 to read as follows. Pursuant to sub-regulation 1 of the regulation, the Director General shall inspect and issue a safety compliance certificate in accordance with Section 9C of Lagos State Safety Commission Law. Roman figure 1. Amend old regulation 6 sub 1, now regulation 10 sub 1, with the side note, restriction of alcohol around swimming pool. Roman figure 2. In old regulation 6 sub 1, now regulation 10 sub 1, the draft to read, possession or consumption of alcoholic liquor, beers, or wines around the public swimming pool shall be monitored and regulated to prevent abuse and endanger lives and property. And Roman figure 3, create a new regulation 10 sub 2 to read as follows. It shall be unlawful for any person to swim after excessive consumption of alcohol in the opinion of the lifeguard or pool management. 12, Roman figure 1. In old regulation 5 sub 1, now regulation 9 sub 1, with the side note, safety of public swimming pool. In line 2, insert public before the swimming pool. Roman figure 2, in new regulation 9 sub 2, line 2, amend the word pool to pools. Roman figure 3, also in new regulation 9 sub 2, line 3, delete the word shall be guilty of an offense after the word used and replace with commit an offense. 13, Roman figure 1, in old regulation 7 sub 1, now regulation 11 sub 1, in line 2, delete open before flame. Roman figure 2, in old regulation 7 sub 1, now regulation 11 sub 1, in line 3, delete the word beach after public and replace with word swimming pool. Roman figure 3, still on the old regulation 7 sub 1 and regulation 11 sub 1, in line 3, delete the word beach access after the word public and replace with the word swimming pool access. Roman figure 4, in old regulation 7 sub 2, now regulation 11 sub 2, in line 2, delete the word beach after public and replace with swimming pool. 14, create a new regulation 14 to read as follows. 1, it shall be unlawful for any person to turn a public swimming pool to a sleeping or residing abode. 2, access to public swimming pool should be between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. 15, Roman figure 1, in old regulation 10 sub 1, now regulation 15 sub 1, delete the word this before regulations in line 2 and replace with these. Roman figure 2, still on old regulation 10 sub 1, now regulation 15 sub 1, delete the amount 20,000 naira in line 2 and replace with 100,000 naira only. Roman figure 3, in old regulation 10 sub 2, now regulation 15 sub 2, delete the amount 250,000 naira only in line 2 and replace with 150,000 naira only. 16, in old regulation 11, now regulation 16, delete the word in the schedule after the word prescribed in line 2 and replace with and replaced by the Commission. 5. Recommendations. Based on the aforementioned observation, committee hereby seek the indulgence of Mr. Speaker and the House to adopt same as the resolution of the House. Conclusion. The committee expressed its gratitude to Mr. Speaker and members for the opportunity given to carry out this assignment. Appreciate also go to the acting clerk of the House and the Secretariat for their support at ensuring the timely completion of this report. Thank you. Honorable Makinde R.L. Fakoja II, Chairman, Ad hoc Committee on Special Duty and Intergovernmental Relations. Thank you.
Honorable Council.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to move that the report as presented be adopted for debate.
Who is seconding? Who is the Honorable Rahim?
Yes, sir. I hereby second the motion as moved.
All in favor, say aye. Those against, no. The ayes have it. Well, who goes first? Yeah, Honorable Laiwala.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I will see that this regulation is very apt, and we will say that it's very prompt. It's very timely when we look at the occurrence in our society nowadays. I equally observe that this regulation will strengthen the existing law that we have in Lagos State. 2015 law that has to do with swimming pool regulation, with this 2021 that we want to have, it will really strengthen it. It will also ensure strict adherence to all set standards and enforcement. I could see that the safety measures both in Section 1, Section 2, and up to the last section are very, very important. However, Mr. Speaker, I need to call our attention to the last regulation that we have under offenses and penalties, sir, 15.1, where it says any person who contravenes or fails to comply with the provision of this regulation shall be liable on conviction to a fine of 100,000 naira. And the second one, a swimming pool operator or management who contravenes any provision of this regulation is liable on conviction to a fine of 150,000 naira. Mr. Speaker, I need to let us know that the amount is just too small. It won't be a bad idea if we can jack it up and make it 500,000 naira. Thank you so much, sir.
Honorable Council.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This report, as presented, is definitely a good one based on the regulation. But however, I haven't commended the chairman for a good job. I want to quickly have our minds back to some issues that I identified with some of these observations and recommendations put forward. I noticed that most of it clearly just talks about the public swimming pools. The bane of the issue, however, is that most of these mishaps actually happen more with our private swimming pools. If we recall, sir, sometime in 2018, the music artist, the bunch, lost a son to drowning in a pool, an indoor pool.
It's not limited to public, the reports generalize. includes both the private and public.
Yes, sir.
So it's not limited to.
Yes, I could actually see that, sir. But I just wanted to make particular reference to the terms of safety, in terms of safety and protection of indoor pools, in terms of creating barriers. That was why I actually started with the premise of the example of the bench.
It's there. It's in the.
Okay, sir.
It's in the regulation now, so it's
all right.
A provision to condone of the swimming pool. Yeah, Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My colleague, good afternoon. Mr. Speaker, this is a good one, and I have to commend the committee for a job well done. In fact, it dealt with a lot of things, but I have slight observation on section 14.2 that talks about access to a swimming pool should be between 7 a.m. and 9 p.m. To me, 9 p.m. is late in the night. It would have been better if you make it 7 to 7, so that because of children and access to emergency support, if in the case of any emergency, I think it would have been more appropriate if we limit to 7 to 7 p.m.
I'm even thinking that you are going to talk about the wide restriction.
Sorry, sir?
It don't restrict swimming pool. In most hotels, people who, have time to go to pool at night. So why do you want to restrict? Even personal swimming pools, sometimes you are only, when you get home, maybe at the late hours, that's where you want to you want to swim. So restricting, I don't think it is good for us.
Okay.
Why restricting?
Okay, Mr.
We must
Speaker.
consider those who are making use of this as a source
for business.
What is it called, business.
Okay.
So I don't see reason why we have to restrict if other professions stated in this are being adhered to.
Okay, sir.
So there's no reason to restrict.
Then, Mr. Speaker, 15.2, just like what Honorable Olaiwola canvassed for. If an individual is being penalized for 100,000, then for management and operator, I think the 150,000 naira is too small. It's supposed to serve as a deterrence. If it's around 250,000, it will be okay, because the essence of having it there is to serve as deterrence so that they will not capitalize on the fact that the penalty is small, so that we can get the desired result. Thank you.
Honorable Senator.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. I also want to commend the chairman and members of the committee for a job well done. In fact, the Right Honorable Speaker had actually answered my inquiry. It has to do with the timing of the use of swimming pool. But in my own report, it seems you're having two different reports. My own report reads 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. Why the other honorable is reading 7 p.m. and but my concern is that there is need to properly define public swimming pool, because there are clubs in Lagos here that have swimming pools that are used.
That is a public
swimming pool. Then that means the timing should be removed, sir. I am of the opinion that the timing should be removed, so that because they swim as late as 10 a.m. in the night, and with the experts surrounding them. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Tebita.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, sir. My observation is this, in the report, section 11, amend old regulation, section 6 of section 1, that has to do with restriction of alcohol around swimming pools. Then in old regulation 6 subsection 1, now regulation 10 subsection 1, redraft to read possession or consumption of alcoholic liquors, beers or wine around public swimming pools shall be monitored and regulated to prevent abuse and endanger life and property. The restriction there and the regulation there, does it mean total ban of alcohol by the pool side, or whoever has been taking alcohol and is intoxicated should not be allowed access into the pool? For example, in a hotel, we know the pool is right beside the bar, and people swim and then at the same time come outside to have drinks and then go back inside. So what does exactly the law is trying to treat here, sir?
I think 11(1) and 2 somehow are conflicting. Because one is saying restriction and the other one is saying regulate. So we can't have the two at the same time. One must go for the other. And I don't think it is possible to actually ban alcohol around swimming pool. It makes sense, you know. I think the two flows together for some of us that goes to club. So please, when you swim and you get tired, you want to hang around the pool and you want to sip. So the fear here is that getting drunk, you know, and going to the pool to drown is the concern here. It's all about maturity, you know. The category of people that are expected to be at the pool and at the bar by late hours are those who, adults precisely, let's just say adults precisely, are the set of people that are expected. And we have a law in place that also bars selling alcohol to an underage. So maybe the one should go for number 2 so that it can be regulated. At least that gives room to stop selling to someone who is being considered to be tipsy somehow. So the club owner can regulate, you know, what's to go. So that restriction, except the chairman has better explanation as to the restriction and the Honorable Shinoko.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I just think that the whole thing is taken care of because when you look at it, I mean 11.2, they say that in old regulation 6.1, now regulation 10.1, redraft to read, possession or consumption of alcohol, liquors, beer or wine, and of swimming pool shall be monitored and regulated. No, that is not the point. The next one says 10.2, it shall be unlawful for any person to swim after excessive consumption of alcohol in the opinion of the lifeguard or the pool's management.
That has taken care of what we are talking about. So, now, who else? So adoption, please. Honorable Kasumu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I hereby move that the recommendations of the report be adopted as the resolution. As amended. Be adopted as a resolution of the House.
Who is seconding? Who is that? Okay, Honorable Kehinde Joseph.
I support the motion as moved.
All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. The next report.
Good afternoon, the Right Honorable Speaker. Distinguished colleagues. I'm here to present...
We can't hear you. Say that you remove your marks, you are sitting alone, and the mother man is putting on his own.
I'm here to present the report of committee on procurements.
And after the committee report, you go.
Okay. All right, sir. Preamble. The Lagos State at its the House at its plenary session on Tuesday, 11 August 2020, committed the above bill to the Committee on Procurement for further legislative scrutiny in order to enable the passage by the House. Thus, the committee, in line with Order 85.3 of the Harmonized Business Rules and Standing Order of the House, organized a day public hearing on Wednesday, 16th September 2020 at the House of Assembly Pavilion to seek input from stakeholders and the public at large on the proposed amendments. May I ask for the indulgence of the Mr. Speaker to move straight to the observations?
Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. The generality of the participants commended the House for its proactiveness and responsiveness to the need of the people. However, the following observations were made from the submission of stakeholders.
Are you fasting?
I am not fasting, sir.
And then use the mic and let us hear you.
Okay. Observation. The generality of the participants commended the House for its proactiveness and responsiveness to the need of the people. However, the following observations were made from the submission of stakeholders at the hearing. 1. Subsection 81 of the principal law, interpretation, should be removed to section 1 to conform with modern trends and international best practices of legislative drafting and renumber accordingly. 2. Still in the interpretation section, there is need to define the following. Tender committee means committee responsible for procurement process at the local government / local council development area LCDs in the states. Capital projects means projects that helps maintain or improve a city assets, often called infrastructure. Director General means the chief executive and accounting officer of the agency. Fund means the Lagos State Procurement Board fund established by Section 18 of this law. Local government area includes local council development area. Professional bodies means the Charter Institute of Purchasing and Supply Management of Nigeria. Past members of state legislature means former members of Lagos State House of Assembly, and replace the word monetary threshold with monetary benchmark. Number 3, in section 1, now section 2, create a new section 2 sub 2D to read, the agency shall operate independent of any other office of the state. This is to remove bureaucratic bottleneck in the attainment of a sound procurement regime and ensure the independence of the agency. Number 4, delete completely old section 2, now 3, with the side note, establishment of the Lagos State Public Procurement Governing Board, replace with a new section 3, with the side note, establishment of Lagos State Public Procurement Board. Number 5, that old section 14, with the side note, objectives of the agency be renumbered as new section 4. Number 6, that all section 3 with the side note power of the board be renumbered as new section 5. Number 7, that all section 3A, section 3A and now 5A be deleted as the same section is already in existence under old section 15.1 and 17 subsection 1. Number 8, delete completely old section 4, now 6, with the side note tenure of office and redraft to read, the chairman and members of the board shall hold office for a term of 4 years and may be reappointed for a further term of 4 years only. Number 9, that all section 5 with the side notes cessation of office be renumbered as new section 7. Number 10, that all section 6 with the side note remuneration and allowances be renumbered as new section 8. Number 11, that all section 7 with the side notes meeting of the board be renumbered as new section 9. Number 12, that all section 8, now 10, with the side note quorum, the quorum of the board meeting be reduced from 5 to 4. Number 13, in all section 9, now 11, with the side note voting, delete completely subsection 2 and redraft to read, at any meeting of the board, each member shall have a deliberative vote, and where there is equality of vote, chairman shall have a second or casting vote. Number 14, that all section 10, 11, 12, and 13 be renumbered as new 12, 13, 15, and 16 respectively. Number 15, that a new section 14 be created with the side note filling of vacancies. Number 16, in all section 15, now 17, delete completely subsection 1 and redraft to read, consider, review, and recommend the monetary benchmark for the application of this law subject to the approval of the board. Number 17, in all section 16, now 18, delete completely subsection H and redraft to read, act on complaints by procuring entities, bidders, and the general public in accordance with the procedure set out in this law. Number 18, still in all section 16, now 18, create a new subsection P to read, oversee contract management in procuring entity. Number 19, in all section 16, subsection 2D, now 18, subsection 2D, after party, delete the word procurement agency and replace with procuring entity. Number 20, delete completely old section 16, subsection 3, now 18.3, and redraft to read, the agency shall have power to do all such things as are reasonably necessary for the purpose of carrying out its function under this law. 21, that all section 17 with the side notes fund of the agency be renumbered as new section 19. 22, there is need to redesignate the nomenclature general manager of the agency to director general in conformity with the World Bank recommendation and international best practices. Hence, old section 18, now 20 with the side note, the general manager of the agency be deleted completely and redrafted with the new side note, the director general of the agency. Number 23, create a new section 21 with side notes, cessation of office of the director general. 24, delete completely old section 19 with the side notes, secretary stroke legal officer of the agency, since the director general will serve as a secretary to the board. Number 25, old section 20 and 21 be renumbered as new section 22 and 23 respectively. Number 6, that old section 22 subsection 3, now 24 subsection 3, after the word benchmark, insert the phrase without having obtained an appropriate approval instrument from the agency. 27, that in all section 22 subsection 4 and 5, now 24 subsection 4 and 5 be deleted and redrafted. 28, still in all section 27 section 22 sub 7 A, now 24 sub 7 A, delete and redraft. 29, that all section 25 be renumbered as section 25. Number 30, that all section 24 1M, now 26 subsection 1M, be deleted and redrafted to read M. Receive on behalf of the tender board bids submitted in response to solicitation. 31, that all section 24 sub 1O, now 26 sub 1O, be deleted and redrafted to read O. Coordinate the evaluation of expression of interest documents submitted by consultant and forward list of qualified submission to the tender board. Number 32, that all section 25 be renumbered as section 27. 33, that all section 26, 23C and D, now 28C and D, be deleted as capacity has been built satisfactorily within the state government. 34, that in all section 26, now 28, create a new subsection C to read, in the case of a local government, a tender committee, that all section 27, now 29 with the side note, procuring and procurement planning be deleted and redrafted. 35, that all section 28 subsection 1 and 2, A, B, and C, now 31 and 2, A, B, and C, with side notes, establishment and composition of procurement planning committee be deleted and redrafted as well. 36, that all section 29H, now 31H, be deleted and redrafted to read H, ensure the execution of the contract agreement. 37, That all section 30 sub 1, now 32 sub 1, with the side note accounting officer be deleted and redrafted. 38, that all section 31 5, now 33 5, with the side note tender board be deleted and redrafted to read 5. The political head of the procuring entity shall be notified about the decision of the tender board. '39. In view of section 31, now 33, with the side notes, tender board, there is the need to create similar section to cater for the local government stroke local council development area, being the third tiers of government involved in procurement. Number 40, there is the need to create a new section 34 subsection 1 and 2 with the side note local government tender committee. 41, there is need to create a new section 35 sub 1, 2, 3 and 4 with the side notes membership of the local government tender committee. 42, there is need to create a new section 36A and B with the side notes composition of the evaluation committee. 43, all section 32 sub 3 I 1 and 2, now 37 3 1 and 2 with the side notes open competitive bidding be deleted and redrafted. Number 44, also delete completely old section 32 sub 4, now 37 sub 4 and redraft to read 4. The applicable procurement method based on monetary benchmark shall be determined by the regulation of the agency. 45, that all section 33 sub 2, now 38 sub 2 with the side notes invitation to bid be deleted completely and redrafted. 46, that all section 33 sub 3, now 38 sub 3 be deleted and redrafted. 47, that all section 34 with the side note pre-qualification of bidders be renumbered as new section 39. 48, the old section 35 sub 1A, now 40 sub 1A with the side notes bid documents be deleted and the corresponding paragraph renumbered accordingly. That all section 36 1A, now 41A with the side notes bid security be deleted and redrafted. Number 50, that old section 37 be renumbered as new section 42. Number 51, in old section 38, now 43 with the side notes failure of bidding. Subsection 1I, 1, 1, 2, and 3, and 2 be deleted and redrafted. Number 52, that all section 39 be renumbered as new section 44. 53, in all section 40, subsection 5, now 45, subsection 5, with the side notes validity period of bids. Line 2, delete the word procurement and replace with procuring. Number 54, in all section 41D, now 46D, with the side notes bid opening. Line 2, replace the word secretary of the agency with the phrase secretary of the tender board. 55, also in all section 41E, now 46E, after the word delegates, delete the phrase in the minutes of the bid opening. 56, that all section 42 and 43 be renumbered as new section 47 and 48 respectively. Number 57, in all section 44, now 49, with the side notes disqualification of bid. Line 1, delete the word procurement entity and replace with procuring entity. Number 58, in all section 45, subsection 1, now 50, subsection 1, with the side notes confidentiality of bid. Line 3, delete the word procurement entity and replace with procuring entity. 59, that all section 46 be renumbered as new section 51. 60. In old section 47A, now section 52A, with the side note, expression of interest to provide services for procurement award, line 3, delete the 2 and replace with 1. Also in 51B, line 1 and 2, delete the word 1 million naira and replace with 10 million naira. (61) Also in section 52, create a subsection 2 as follows. Notwithstanding the provision of subsection 1 above, the amount applicable to self-accounting arms of government shall be as stipulated in the regulation to this law. 62. In old section 48, now 53, with the side note, limitation of time for procurement award, line 2. After the word 3 months, insert the word provided that any extension shall be subject to the approval of the agency. Number 63, that all section 49 and 51 be renumbered as new section 54 and 55 respectively. Number 64, in all section 51 subsection 1A, now 56 subsection 1A, with the side note, content of the request for proposal, delete the word procurement entity and replace with procuring entity. 65. In old section 52 subsection 1, now 57 subsection 1, section 1, with the side note, clarification and modification of request for proposal. After the word and such request, delete the word may and replace with shall. 66. The old section 53 be renumbered as new section 58. 67. In old section 54 subsection 2, now 59 sub 2, with the side notes, criteria for evaluation of proposal, line 3, delete the word from time to time. In the same line, replace the word commission with agency after D. 68. That all section 55 be renumbered as new section 60. 69. In all section 56 subsection 3, now 61 sub 3, with the side note, procure for selection of proposal where price is a factor. Delete the word procurement and replace with procuring. Number 17. In all section 57 sub 2, now 62 sub 2, with the side note, selection procedure where price is not a factor. Delete the word procurement entity and replace with procuring entity. 71. In all section 58, now 63, with the side note, register of award, line 2. After the word agency, insert procuring entity. 72. In old section 59 sub 1C, now 64 sub 1C, with the side note, restricted tendering, be deleted and redrafted to read. The procedure is used as an exception rather than norms, provided that the agency may by its guideline determine other instances where restrictive tendering or direct contracting may be applicable. 73. Still in old section 59 sub 2A, now 64 subsection 2A, line 1, after the word goods, insert works. 74. Also in old section 59, now 64, create a new subsection 4 to read, the agency shall by its regulation determine other instance, if not be, if need be, where restrictive tendering may be applicable. 75. In old section 60 sub 1, now 65 sub 1, delete the word board and replace with governor. 76. Create a new section, section 60, subsection 1C, now 65 1C, to read human life is threatened. 77. That all section 61 and 62 be renumbered as new section 66 and 67 respectively. 78, or section 63, now 68, with the side notes, advance payments be deleted completely and replaced with a new draft. 79, that a new section 59 with the side notes, failure of contractual performance, be created. 80, that a new section 70 with the side note, project certification, be created. 81, that a new section 71 with the side note, tampered reports and illegal collection of gratification, be created. 82, that all sections 64, 65, and 66 be renumbered as new sections 72, 73, and 74, respectively. 83, in all section 67, subsection 7, now 75, sub 7, line 1, delete the semicolon after the word entity and replace as in inverted comma. 84, that all sections 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, and 74 be renumbered as new section 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, and 82, respectively. Number 85, that all section 75, sub 1, now 83, sub 1 be deleted and redrafted to read, the agency shall keep proper account of all its expenditure and revenue and shall cause its amount to be audited not later than 6 months after the end of each financial year by external auditor appointed from the list of auditors provided by the Auditor General of the state in accordance with the audit law. 86, that all sections 76 sub 2K and L, now 84 2K and L, be deleted and redrafted to read K. Withdraw a bid after it has qualified as the lowest cost evaluated bid or slash highest rated bid. L, refuse to accept an award without just cause or for the purpose of forcing the procuring entity to award the contract to another bidder. This shall include the non-submission within the prescribed time or delaying the submission of requirements. Number 87, in all section 77 sub 1C, now 85 sub 1C, insert the phrase or other funds such as revolving fund and grants after the word consolidated revenue fund. 88, that all section 78 and 79 be renumbered as new section 86 and 87 respectively. Number 89, that all section 80 with the side notes transitional provision be deleted completely. Number 90, create a new section 88 with the side note savings to read, nothing in this law shall invalidate any action done under the repeal law. 91, that in view of the voluminous amendments being considered that require harmonization, the committee recommend that the principal law be repealed and reenacted. Hence, a new section 89 with the side note repeal be created to read the Lagos State Public Procurement Agency Law CH 56, Laws of Lagos State 2015 is repealed, and 92, that all section 82, now 90, with the side notes citation and commencement be deleted and redrafted to read. This law may be cited as the Lagos State Public Procurement Law and shall come into effect on 2021. 93, that a new section 91 with the side note schedule be created. Now, I am going to the recommendation 6.0. From the above observation, the committee recommends that the principal law be reenacted as follows. 1. Section 81 of the principal law with the side note interpretation is moved to section 1
Is it what we have as observation that is being adopted as a recommendation?
Almost the same, sir. Yes, sir.
If they are same, then we should just adopt the recommendation, except they are quite different.
There is no serious difference, sir, except that we expatiated further on our recommendation.
If they are the same, then we should take that as or rather adopt the report for debate.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, we'll ask, who is moving?
Can I go to conclusion now, sir?
Okay.
The committee expresses its gratitude to Mr. Speaker and members of the members for the opportunity given to carry out these assignments. We also appreciate the acting clerk of the House and the Secretariat for their support at ensuring the timely completion of this report. Thank you, Honorable Rauf Olawale, Acting Chairman, Committee on Procurement. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Afeni.
I move that the report as presented by the committee be adopted for debate.
Honorable Tijari. I like to support the motion as all in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. I will go first. Honorable Temitope.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to use this opportunity to commend the acting chairman of the committee for the voluminous work done with this report. My observation is in section 62 of the observation, which was carried to the recommendation as well.
52.
62.
Yeah.
In old section 48, now 53, with the side note limitation of time for procurement award, line 2. Afterwards, after the words 3 months, insert words provided that extension shall be subjected to the approval of the agency. I think it should be, well, I was thinking the institution of the local government that has no agency. Should it be tenders board in the local government, in the case of local government, or agency entities?
No, procuring entity,
Yes.
what did they call
Procuring,
it?
yes, procuring
It
entity.
shouldn't be tenders, but I don't think we still have tenders when you take procurement. So at the council or MDAs, it becomes entity procurement, an entity, something. What it's saying, what the section is saying, after 3 months, suggesting what, that limitation of time for procurement award. Well, after 3,
provided any extension shall be subject to the approval of the agency. It should
okay,
be
you mean registration with procurement or with the procurement agency?
so it should be procurement entities, not agency again, or procuring
Well,
entities.
what does the law say?
62.
The chairman, can you read it out, the section? Chairman, don't you have copy of the bill?
Well, what you have pointed out is that in local government...
Read it out, read it out. Let's see what we have in it.
It's not here. Old law.
That guy, where is the copy of the bill? Can you give it to him?
Mr. Speaker, may I read on his behalf, please?
Okay, if you have it, go ahead.
Section 48, limitation of time for procurement award. The original law says without prejudice to the provision of this law, the period between the opening of the bid and the award of a contract shall not exceed 3 months. That is it.
So what is your quarrel with that? So now I think they should categorize this section. Because if you are given 3 months before the bidding and everything is being concluded upon to the awarding of contracts for 3 months, I think it's wide. This section probably is talking about major projects. You know, major projects like talking about bridge, I mean, the kind of consortium project. So if you have to consider other MDAs too, as we create lapses where they can explore to, you know, to delay mostly. So it should not be applicable to the council, local government, as rightly observed, and other MDAs. So it should go to regulation. The regulation should be able to determine who and who this section is applicable. Yeah, well, still want to say something about Mr.
Yes, sir.
Well,
I just want to say that it is the same as in the old law. We did not touch that at all.
And that's what we are saying, that the way it's being couched here, it's not, at least it's not tidy enough where you consider other MDAs. At the state level, where you talk about major projects, fine. But when you look at other MDAs and you talk about the local government institutions, if you have to do bidding procurement exercise for 3 months before a contract is being awarded, I think it's too much. So maybe we should just categorize what is applicable, maybe the 3 months in a situation where we are talking about major projects like the Fort Mainland Bridge and also that takes time to conclude with the maybe investors, partners, and also, but you can't apply same to local government. What nature of project will be done at the local government? That has to take 3 months before as some MDA. So I think we should categorize it, or better say you take it to the regulation, so that will be flexible to manage.
Information, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Shaw.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Also, what Honorable Temitope Dewale was saying is that in the recommendation, the committee recommended that those 3 months can even be extended further.
Oh.
So that is what he is saying. So, but now that you've said they should take it to regulation, they can go and take care of it.
I don't think it's necessary to extend it further. I don't think so. Yeah. Yes, let's move on. Yeah, Honorable Shaw.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Also, I want to commend the acting chairman of the committee for an assignment that was carried out with scrupulous attention, let me say that. I have a few observations, Mr. Speaker, if you permit me. The first one is in the recommendation 7. The recommendation 7 is requesting that the old section 3 of the old law be deleted because it was already taken care of in section 15.1 and section 17.1. I would like to, for clarification, I need to say a few things on this. In the section 3, it was talking about the powers of the board. In the section 15, section 17, it was talking about the powers and functions of the agency. The section that is being removed, which is more like a policy formulation, which reads that, if I may read the old law, consider, set, amend, and review prior benchmark for the application of the provisions of this law by the procuring agency. That is the job of the board. The part that the agency should keep, which is the 15, should be what is in 16, which is enforce the rules and review threshold set pursuant to this law. If you delete that section, you have taken that power away from the board and handed it over to the agency. So I believe we should leave it with the agency, sorry, with the board to formulate it, while the agency will enforce it. The next one, Honorable Speaker, is the...
I still want to be clear with the what you...
Okay, what I said.
On 7, you said, now under the recommendation, number 7, O section 3, we decide no powers of the board is renumbered as new section 5. That is what we have here. To be renumbered. It's not talking about delete.
I read the observation. Let me see. Observation. Observation says, that's why maybe it's different from recommend. The old section 3, now...
What's number in observation?
7.
Same 7.
Yes.
The old section
3A, now
5A be deleted at same function is already in existence under old section 15.1 and now 17.1. So it's like changing the sections.
Yes, but under recommendation, Mr. Speaker, under recommendation is on, it will be 8.
Is what?
8. Old, that will be section, and the
section 3.
3A is deleted.
Old section 3 with side note powers of the board is renumbered as new section 5.
Number 8, the next one.
Number 8, old section 3A is deleted.
Deleted.
So what is the 3A?
So which is what I read, which is the power of the board saying that, the power of the board saying that the powers of the board are to A, consider, set, amend, and review prior benchmark for the application of the provisions of this law by procuring entities.
Yes, they've deleted that. It has been taken to regulation approval of Lagos State. Is that what?
No.
Is to determine, I think what we are talking about here is to determine the, what is it called, the benchmark that an agency can award.
This is a bit different, sir.
That the board will determine.
Yes.
The benchmark.
Yes. This is a function of the board.
It can't be function of the board. That's what we are saying. And that's why we are changing it. If we are on the same page, what we are thinking here is that for any agency to award, there must be kind of benchmark or threshold that you cannot go beyond. Going beyond that, you have to resort to the agency for approval.
Sir, the agency can implement that. These are policy issues. So the board will set, the agency will implement. So the board is of the agency. It's the board, the agency that owns the board. The board owns the agency. So the board will decide that. They do that. The GM is also part, sorry, the Director General now has been presented, is also part of the board. So they set all that. Then the agency will implement. In the process of implementing, if people need to go beyond it, they can come back to the agency by regulation.
So our own take is this. What goes to each MDA?
Yes.
Are quite different. Some are receiving allocation which are very huge, and some little. So you cannot compare the same expenditure rate of an institution that gets huge amount to that of the...
I agree with you totally.
So
sir.
If the one that gets huge amount has to go regularly to take approval before incurring expenditure, definitely it will create bottleneck and it will slow down. And that's why it's been taken to regulation, Lagos regulation approval law, so that it will be flexible, because we can't come back to the law and start amending every time. So with that, it will be stated or categorized who can spend up to this amount of money without coming back to the agency. If you give it to the board, it's still the same thing.
Yes.
Because you have to go to the board, and the board, mind you, is not a regular, what is it called, functioning body. It's not regular, except in case of emergency. Maybe they sit once or twice in a month. So we cannot rely on that. So it's better we have it in regulation that, okay, this institution that is getting 100,000 per month can spend this without coming to the agency.
Sir, I agree with you totally, sir. But the function, whose function is it? Is it the function of the agency or the function of the board to draw that regulation?
It's not bodies, to draw the
Draw the regulation is what we are
Who
talking.
is drawing them? There's a provision in the law, in the bill now, that determines who comes up with regulations.
That is what I'm talking about. That function in the current law resides with the board, but it will still come for regulation. But the way it's being done now, it has been moved from the board to the agency, meaning that the GM would determine it. In short, the way it's now written is that the agency would draw it up, review it, then seek approval of the board.
I think it's proper. That is the way it should be. The board cannot draw regulation. I don't think, well, I'm just, in my own opinion, that the board cannot come up with regulation. It should be the agency, because it's the agency that is at the center of it all.
Honorable Speaker, sir.
That knows what to be done and otherwise. But it can be taken to the board to get approval.
Honorable Speaker, I agree with you totally. They won't draw up the regulation, but it's a policy statement. But best known, I think you've gotten the input of what I'm saying, sir.
Yeah. So
All right,
I think we should give it to the agency. Let the agency come up with the regulation and let the board approve before sending it to the house. Because at the end of the day, it still come back to the house.
Okay.
Approval.
Okay. Then section recommendation, I think this is recommendation. I don't know if it's recommendation or observation now. 20, sorry, okay, under recommendation. Recommendation 20, oversee contract management in procuring entities. I don't know why this is there, because this is more like oversighting the contract itself. Procurement should be oversighting the contract itself, even though they already have a provision in section 16(1)(b), 16(1)(b) that already says that they can inspect, review any procurement transaction to ensure compliance with the provisions of the law. So now saying that they can oversee contract management, I don't know whether that's more procurement work or more like oversight of what an assembly member would do. I don't understand what that's supposed to be. Also, Honorable Speaker.
No, before you go, let's look at that. Oversee contract management
in procuring entities.
Contract management. Chairman, what do you mean by contract management?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. When contracts are awarded, there is need for the agency to monitor its implementation. And it's not as if they are doing our work, but whatever they must have gone to, whatever they must have done, they still have to come back to us.
So what gives you the impression that the agency possess wherewithal to monitor such?
Yeah, because there is no contract that can be awarded without their knowledge, sir.
Well, not knowledge. I'm not talking about knowledge. The competence.
Okay.
The competence to question or to supervise. Because you can only monitor what you have knowledge of.
Yes.
Something that you don't have the knowledge, there's no way you can monitor. So I don't think this, well, maybe they should have drafted this in somehow to monitor the financial implication as to if they have whatever that has been given or paid to the contractor, if they have performed to that, and I think we have that already.
That's already there, stating inspect and review any procurement.
It cannot. The person, those in the agency, is either to be economics or something like that. So you can't allow an economist to go and supervise or monitor engineering, what is it called? So I don't think that's, that is my opinion. If you have contrary view. Honorable Miranda.
Thank you, sir. Is it actually an observation under recommendation? Recommendation 16.2.
We are still on this. Are you? Sorry. Look, let's finish with this before. Honorable Shiloku. Put off your light if you have light, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I agree with you totally that it should be expunged from the agency to monitor, because there are enough monitoring agencies. The ministry will monitor. The economic planning and budget also monitors before payment is done. So I don't think it's just a way of giving something by the right hand and taking it away by the left. So it is unnecessary. It slows down, it creates bottleneck, bureaucratic bottleneck.
Yes, sir.
All right, please.
Yes, I think this section, this overseas contract management, is the serious impediment on contract management. They don't even have the competence. The truth is that it's not because they are procurement, they have the expertise. No, they don't. So I don't think that section should be included at all. Thank you, sir.
All right. So we do away with that.
Thank you,
Honorable
Mr.
Isha.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Isha.
I'm going to, let me skip to 37. The others, there is a few things that are, but I think that typical errors, I will just discuss that with the chairman. But there's a particular section under 37 which appeared in the original law, which is section 29, I believe, in the original law, which states that on that list, there's one leg missing, which states that integrate its procurement expenditure into its yearly budget. I believe it's an omission, because it's very critical. The essence of doing all this...
37 words.
Section 20... In the original law is section 29.
No,
the recommendation 37. Recommendation 37.
37 what?
The recommendation 37.
No, we have 37A, B.
Okay, sorry. It's omitted totally.
Okay.
So in the list of steps that a procuring plan, the leg that is supposed to come after aggregating its requirements whenever possible within the procurement entity and obtain economy of scales and reduce procurement costs. The next step, which is in the original law, is that integrate its procurement expenditure into its yearly budget. And that is a key step. So I think it's omitted. It's an omission because there's nowhere they said it should have been deleted. So that is just an omission.
All right.
Section 40, recommendation 4041. Well, I'll discuss that with them. We've already defined local government to mean local government and LCDA. So we need not repeat those words in there. Then another critical one, Mr. Speaker, Section 47. Section 47 has to do with bid document. Bid document is in the original law, Section 35. The first item in the bid document is the approved budget for the contract. I know it is the recommendation that was brought to the committee. By deleting that line, it means that the protection, or should I say, the safeguard of ensuring that any contract that is awarded is in the budget has been removed. So that line that the approved budget must be available in the bid document that is being given to the people that are going to come and bid for a job, by removing it, because even some of the ad hoc committees that we did in the past.
The economic planning that gives go ahead on that.
No,
I think there's a leg of which other provision that says before any contract is being awarded that the other economic planning has to give.
No, it is this law we rely on.
Okay, so
this is the part we rely on, that if you don't have a budget, you cannot award.
Yeah.
And in several ad hoc committees we've had, this is the section we refer to. You understand?
What is the bill suggesting now?
That we should delete it.
Maybe they've replaced it.
No. This outright deletion.
Read the section in the real law.
In the real law, the bid document shall be, then section 35 bid document, the bid document shall be prepared by procuring entities based on the standard forms and manuals issued under regulation by the agency. The bidding document shall include the following. A, approved budget for the contract. So here in 47, they said, create a 4041A with the side no bid document is deleted. If you look at the recommendation, it's better written there. If you look at observation 30, I think it's observation 48. There is stated that old section 35(1)A, now 41A, with the side note bid document be deleted and the corresponding paragraphs renumbered accordingly.
Now it has been recreated in 48.
No.
48, create a new section 4111A.
What they are just doing with that is they are turning, because there's now a gap there, so they just filled it up from down. But the idea was to take out that part, because I read it in the submission of the proposal for the bill. What they proposed was here, section 31A of the principal law is deleted and the corresponding paragraphs are renumbered accordingly. So the idea was to take out that line.
Chairman, what is your take on that? Put up your lights.
There is no problem, it's just an omission. This morning I discovered it and I quickly referred.
You tried to bury it.
I referred. So it's just, there is no time to correct the whole thing, but it is noted.
You just carry us like that.
Mr. Speaker, sincerely he agreed. It was because he could not read the recommendation. He had said he would remove it when he was reading it.
I've already pointed it.
But you should have called our attention to it.
Okay,
at least, although during the, what is it called, the final distance, at least we will have detected that. So, is that all?
Finally, sir.
I'm sure you have problem with the chairman.
Okay, no, I've been begging him here.
No problem.
Okay, let me just make this one the final one, sir. Restricted tender, I think somebody tried to mention it earlier on. The section recommended 71, restricted tender, to read, the procedure is used as an exception rather than a norm. They now added, provided that the agency may by its guideline determine the instances where restrictive tendering or direct contracting may be applicable. Fine, like you said, we want them to have some freedom, but it should be regulation, not guidelines, sir. Because with the guideline, they can do it without any oversight on it. So it should be regulation. So they will put it in their regulation, which other methods they've discovered, other areas they discovered that they want to apply restricted tender to. That is my last submission for the day. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Exception, why they use the word exception, I think these are, basically the major projects that were with us are not much available. It's only limited to certain categories of people. I think that's what they are referring to here as restricted. That
own guideline, outside the law, they can determine other instances. So if they come up today that they have a guideline that every other thing is also can be restricted. So that's why I said we should.
I think that is also to protect, not only to determine, to protect unforeseen situations.
Yes, I agree with them.
Nature.
I agree with them totally, but can it not guideline, not using guideline? Let them use regulation to manage it.
It's all right.
All right, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Moji Miranda.
Thank you, Mr. Recommendation 16.2 and 24.7. I just observed that we need to be consistent with the tenure, numbers of years, because we used to the 5-year tenure, but here we have 4 years. So I want to believe that an omission or something.
I think so too, since every other day now 5 years, so I don't know why we go back to 4 years again. Maybe we should just leave it to Honorable Rahim.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me also commend the acting chairman of this committee. My own observation is just a clarification. I don't know what the chairman means. And from page 28, 35, 30, sorry, number 28.
Which one? Recommendation.
It's observations. It's numbers. Let me use numbers. Number 28, 35, 37, 43, 45, 46, 49, 51. Chairman said, still on old section 22(7)(a), now 24(7)(a). Delete and retract. Delete, I don't know what you mean.
Okay, you're talking about 27, 28.
28.
Yeah, see.
At the end of the statement, it said delete and redraft. Is it to delete and redraft to read what?
If you go to the recommendation, you will see it there.
Okay.
Yes.
What number do we, or what number is it on recommendation?
Is it on the same 28 on recommendation?
No, not the 28.
It's what? 30. Okay, that's to read.
29. Yeah. Page 12.
Okay.
Page 12.
Yeah, page 12.
What number?
From 28, 29, 30.
Okay.
Okay.
Has that addressed your issue?
Sir.
Yeah, who else? Having done the amendments, who is moving for adoption? Sabatica. Yeah, Honorable Rahim.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I hereby move that the recommendation of the committee should be
as amended.
Should be adopted as a resolution of the House.
Yeah, who is
I so move.
Honorable Akonde.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I hereby support the motion as moved.
All in favor say aye. Those against nay. The ayes have it. Majority leader, are there any other reports?
No, sir. Those are the reports stated for presentation. And on that note, Mr. Speaker, I wish to move that the House reverts to plenary as we move.
Honorable Temitokwa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise second the motion as moved.
All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Majority leader.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, at the committee of the whole, the House took presentation of two reports. One on the Lagos State Safety Commission Swimming Pool Regulation 2021, presented by the Committee on Special Duties Chairman on behalf of other committees. The second is the report on Lagos State Public Procurement Agency Amendment Bill 2020, also presented by the acting chairman of the Committee on Procurement. The two reports attracted comments by members, suggestions for amendments, and penalty as presented in the reports. On the whole, the two reports, the recommendations of the committees on the two reports were adopted as a resolution of the House, subject to the amendment proposed thereto. Mr. Speaker, I wish to say that's what would happen at the committee of the whole.
Honorable Victor Akonde.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wish to affirm that that is what transpired at the committee of the
Honorable Kasuru. All in favor, say aye. Those against, nay. The ayes have it. Majority leader, what?
Mr. Speaker, I wish to inform the House that the Committee on Intergovernmental Relations has incorporated all the amendments, has incorporated all the recommendations that have been adopted as a session of the House into the regulations and have prepared a clean copy of such recommendation. And on that note, Mr. Speaker, with your kind permission, I wish to... Can I go ahead, Mr. Speaker?
No, I still don't understand what you are doing.
I said that the clean copy of the regulation has been made. So it's ready, it's been made. So I wish to move the formal motion for his approval, subject to your permission.
Hold on that.
Okay.
Hold on. Let's go straight to the first readings we have. Okay, which one? Yeah.
Mr. Speaker, next on the other paper is the item C, House of Assembly Bill number 22. Mr. Speaker, I hereby move that Lagos State Sports Commission Amendment Law 2021 be read for the first time. I so move.
Honorable Owolabi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the motion as moved by the majority leader.
All in favor, say aye. Those against, nay. The ayes have it. Mr. Clark.
The Right Honorable Speaker, sir, distinguished honorable members, it is my great honor and privilege to read for the first time a bill for a law, Lagos State Sports Commission Amendment Law 2021. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, before we go further, let me take us back to announcement. We have few letters from Mr. Governor informing the House about its nominees. Will I call on the clerk to please quickly take the letters?
Thank you very much, sir. We received 3 letters from Mr. Governor addressed to the Right Honorable Speaker, Lagos State House of Assembly, Assembly Complex, LSHA Ikeja. With your kind permission, I read. The first letter states, Right Honorable Speaker, forwarding of list of nominees for appointment as chairman and members of Lagos State Health Service Commission. The letter is dated 24th November 2020. I am pleased to convey the list of the nominees for appointment as chairman and members, Lagos State Health Service Commission, for the kind consideration and confirmation of honorable members of the House of Assembly, please. They are as presented hereunder. Number 1, Dr. Mrs. Onayiga Atinuke Muyinat, chairman. Number 2, Mrs. Kemi Ogunyemi, member. Number 3, Dr. Mobolaji Olukoya, member. Number 4, Dr. Olumuyiwa Sholanke, member. Number 5, Mrs. Adepeju Muyibat Adeleye, member. Paragraph 2, while conveying my regards for yourself and members of our esteemed State Assembly I am trusting that the Right Honorable Speaker will facilitate the expeditious screening of the nominees as always. Paragraph 3, thank you. Signed, Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, Governor of Lagos State. The second letter is also addressed to the Right Honorable Speaker, and it goes, Dear Right Honorable Speaker, forwarding of the list of nominees for appointment as members of the Lagos State Public Procurement Agency Governing Board. I am pleased to convey the list of the nominees for appointment as members of the Public Procurement Agency Board for the kind consideration and confirmation of honorable members of the House of Assembly, please. They are as presented hereunder. Number 1, Ms. Folusho Oluyinka Onabowale, member. Number 2, Ms. Folusho Hakim Mustafa, member. Number 3, Mr. Olushola Lanre, member. While conveying my regards for yourself and members of our esteemed State House of Assembly, I am trusting that the Right Honorable Speaker will facilitate the expeditious screening of the nominees as always. Paragraph 4, thank you. Signed, Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, Governor of Lagos State. The third letter is dated December 30th, 2020, and is addressed to the Right Honorable Speaker. Forwarding the list of the list of nominees for appointment as members of Ibile Oil and Gas Corporation Governing Board. I am pleased to convey the list of nominees for appointment as members of Ibile Oil and Gas Corporation Governing Board for the kind consideration and confirmation of honorable members of the House of Assembly, please. They are as presented hereunder. Number 1, Mr. Wole Ogunsanya, member. Mr. Tokunbo Ishmael, member. Number 3, Mr. Goke Adeniyi, member. Number 4, Ms. Omolara Abike Kojo Alakija, member. Paragraph 2, while conveying my regards for yourself and members of our esteemed State House of Assembly, I am trusting the Right Honorable Speaker will facilitate the expeditious screening of the nominees as always. Paragraph 3, thank you. The letter is signed by Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, Governor of Lagos State. The fourth and the last letter is dated January 19, 2021, and also addressed to the Right Honorable Speaker. And I read, forwarding of the list of nominees for appointment as members of Lagos State Judicial Service Commission. I am pleased to convey the list of the nominees for appointment as members Lagos State Judicial Service Commission for the kind consideration and confirmation of honorable members of the House of Assembly, please. They are as presented hereunder. Number 1, Mr. Shukpo Ati John, member. Number 2, Mrs. Bamidele Akinyemi, member. Number 3, Mr. Shinde Karim, member. Paragraph 2, while conveying my regards for yourself and members of our esteemed State House of Assembly, I am trusting that the Right Honorable Speaker will facilitate the expeditious screening of the nominees as always. Paragraph 3, thank you. The letter is signed by Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, Governor of Lagos State. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the last item, the next and the last item on the other paper is in respect of House of Assembly Bill number 11.
No, I thought you have stepped down. Which one are you talking about?
No, that is item D, item E now becoming item D. That's in respect of unlawful society, third reading.
Okay, the third reading now.
Yes. So with your kind permission, Mr. Speaker, I move that Unlawful Society and Cultism Prohibition Bill 2020 be read for the third time.
No break. Honorable Akisanya.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I rise to second the motion as moved.
All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Mr. Clerk.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Distinguished honorable members, it gives me great pleasure and honor to read for the third time a bill for a law to provide for the prohibition of unlawful societies and cultism in Lagos State and for other connected purposes. Thanks.
A bill for a law to provide for the prohibition of unlawful societies and cultism in Lagos State and for other connected purposes. Page 1. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Majority leader.
Mr. Speaker, page 1, cultism. The last line should not be part of that definition. I think it's not the, with your kind permission, I read, means open and clandestine acts perpetrated by a person or group of persons with objects inimical and prejudicial to the safety of life, property, public peace, law, and other anywhere in the state, and not learning institutions and communities in the state. Mr. Speaker, I'm sorry, I withdraw that. I withdraw the observation.
Okay, thank you. Page 5, page 6, page 7, page 8, page 9, page 10, page 11, that a bill for a law to provide for the prohibition of unlawful societies and cultism in Lagos State and for other connected purposes be passed into law. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Mr. Clerk, kindly pass the clean copy to Mr. Governor for his absence. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I hope I now have your permission to move that pursuant to Regulation Approval Law